All right.
Well, hi folks, I'm Ian from Gun Gamers.
Hi, I'm Eric.
Hi, I'm Cory.
Today we're doing a long-awaited review, considering I had this sent to me like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago at this point, but this is the Maple Armouries Spitfire, as so named by our friend Kaylee, who will be jumping in at some point during the video to add her own thoughts on how the gun performs. But yeah, full transparency, I had this gun sent to me for free, and the expectation was for me to just keep it after the review was done. And yeah, it's been about 2 years since we got it.
Yeah, this was sent to us for not only review purposes, but also like testing and evaluation. So bear in mind that what we're going to be talking about is about a pre-production model. This is a model that was still being like finalized before the batches were getting shipped out when we got it. So we're going to review the example of the gun we have on our table. Bear in mind there may be some updates before you get your gun.
There are also a couple things that you're not going to get stock on this gun. I changed out the pistol grip to a saw style pistol grip, and then Cory changed the muzzle device out to, was it like a PP19?
Yeah, PP19 flash hider. I just thought it was cooler.
Yeah, okay. You won't get that. You'll get a standard AK-74 style of flash hider, and then just the standard AK pistol grip that comes on pretty much every stock gun on the market. Speaking of stock guns, this, outside of an RHOP, is completely stock, and from my, thoughts on it, it's probably the best performing AK on the market out of the box. I don't know about you guys, but I had a really good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to mention the hole in my experience. I haven't used an Arcturus AK, and people keep bringing those up.
Yeah.
I have not used those, but I've used ENL, LCT, CYMA, or CYMA, whatever, D-Boys way back in the day.
Yeah.
Even like the old G&G AKs.
Yeah, the GK74s and whatnot. I think the only one that I haven't used is like the Real Sword AKs. But
I have not used a real sword, but I will tell you, well, actually, I've shot a real sword. I haven't owned one. And I will tell you from what I remember of shooting a real sword, no comparison.
Yeah.
That said, the real sword is no comparison in terms of being basically an actual firearm receiver. But
well, that and if you find one, it's probably going to be like $1,000 to buy it because they made a total of like 15 of them, to be honest.
Oh, they were pretty popular way back in the day, but you have to remember like 2007 to 2012 Airsoft to remember when you could kind of easily get real sword.
It's been a minute. So, kind of starting off, what is this? It is more or less a
SLR rifle
AK-74. It's
SLR
style
rifle
lower handguard, and then I guess kind of the standard railed gas tube that you get from like Ultimac or any of those companies. AK-74 length, so 16-ish inch barrel, and I think it's OEM'd from the same. It comes from the same factory that Ditech is made out of, and from what I can tell, pretty much all the important stuff is made out of either some form of pot metal, steel, or aluminum, and it feels very, very solid. There were a few things that we had issues with at the start when we first got it. I think it was you and I both had the issue of the stock occasionally having issues locking completely out. And that's not something I'm super worried about right now. We did also have issues with, was it you who broke the sling plate off?
Yep, the sling plate on the stock in the back ripped out. It was sort of just like pushed in with sheet metal and bent around, almost like a rivet, but not very well. So I ended up putting some shock cord on it and weaving it through the old hole where that plate used to be, and just attaching my sling to that. And then there's no like good sling mount on many AKs. You've got the standard one up here, which is really blocked by the rail. I put a mag pole sling point up there for this 2-point sling.
Yeah, it's the LBX sling?
Yeah, this is an LBX sling.
Just a copy of a VTAC sling.
Yeah, just chintzier.
So in all reality, I mean, it's going to be similar in build quality to something like a SEMA AK.
I would say it compares favorably to like a standard SEMA.
Yeah, but you're not really buying this for build quality. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's absolutely serviceable and it should last quite a while. But what you're really buying it for is internal performance. Like we were saying earlier, it's probably the best performing AK out of the box, considering that SEMA... I mean, their new SEMA Platinum series is pretty solid.
The SEMA Platinum series is not available in the AKs yet, though.
Correct. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this uses a lot of the same parts that SEMA uses, or is going to use in their SEMA Platinum series of AKs. Because if I'm not mistaken, pretty much all of Ditac's like Cool series and all of SEMA's Platinum series is just SHS internals.
Yeah, a lot of it is OEM'd by SHS from my understanding.
If you go on a Maple Armouries website, you're going to it's Maple Airsoft Supply that sells all the Maple Armouries guns. You'll notice that all of the internals are SHS.
Yeah.
I think it's like 13-1 gears that are short stroke, 22 TPA motors, and that's pretty much standard across the board. The only real differences you're going to see between a lot of their guns is different. Is it a nylon receiver? Is it an aluminum receiver? Are you getting something with like an integrated optical MOSFET versus a just standard trigger or micro switch MOSFET? Rather.
Yeah, like a trigger board or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the variant that we got here was standard trigger board, standard trigger board and an R-hop. And that ended up running us equivalent to like $270 US.
Well, if you were to buy it, it would be about $270 US. And for $270, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of our audience that ends up going to like major events like Clemson West or AMS, et cetera, you're going to want to like upgrade your gun, especially if it's like an LCT or a SEMA. They're shooting just piss hot immediately after you get them. You're going to have to open up the gearbox anyway. So if you want to buy something that you don't really have to open up the gearbox immediately after getting, you can go ahead and roll the chrono footage here.
Yeah, I mean, this thing shoots 1.4 joules with 3 2s.
Yeah, so you're getting like 22 rounds per second, full auto with an 11-1 Titan battery and
an old Titan battery.
That and the trigger response is very snappy for something that is completely stock. So I'm actually really happy with it.
And I found that the range and accuracy was really good because obviously you're not losing a lot of energy with the hop up with an and so you're going to have a pretty easy time hopping those heavy BBs. And I found the inner barrel quality to definitely be good enough to give a good grouping. Obviously, everyone's going to have their favorite barrels that they're going to list down in the description, but I think the stock barrel on this is actually really good.
Yeah, and to be honest, every airsofter completely overestimates the range of their guns. Just like, I'm shooting laser beams at 400. That's 400 feet away. You're not hitting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're going to be able to hit man-sized targets if you kind of like artillery it in at like 250 feet with 3 2s. Kaylee is going to have some anecdotes about her experience with it because she was using your mags.
She was using my Cyma 7.6 or 5.45 style mags.
And that is another note to have with this gun. At least with this pre-production model, we were running into issues with certain mags not either feeding very well, chopping BBs, having issues, engaging the hop up. So what we have noticed is that, or at least the note that we got from Jake from Maple Airsoft Supply, is that D-Day's PMags, the 7.62 PMags you can get from D-Day, apparently fit and feed perfectly in this gun. Very, very reliable. Also, from our initial testing over and doing our chrono, the 7.62 mags from Cyma actually work really, really well.
Yeah, we should have been using these all along, turns out.
Yeah. The SEMA 5.45 mags just weren't cutting it, but the 7.62 mags, they fit really, really well. They feed really, really well.
I think the rear locking notch is just a little bit differently shaped.
Yeah.
It's a little bit longer or thicker, and as a result, it doesn't wobble in the mag well enough to disengage from the hop up, whereas that was an issue we were having with the 5.45 mags.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just yet another thing with like how all airsoft AKs are very finicky with mags. Like either use the brand like the mags you get with a gun, or find something that works. And well, we found something that works. It turns out that the SEMA 5 or 7.62 mags, which are like $8, and you can find them everywhere. That should be the go-to for this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still really impressed for like $270 just with the performance.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we had those body fitment issues that were like things that we had to figure out. The stock broke in. But we did forward all this feedback, even though it took us this long to make the video, we did forward all this feedback to Maple Airsoft. And as far as I know, they made changes based on our testing and evaluation.
So they absolutely, from my understanding, they absolutely did. And if this is going to be anything like our Maple Vanguard video, you're probably going to get a little anecdote down in the comments from Jake himself. These are, honestly, really, really good guns, especially for the price. I'd recommend it. I don't know. You guys had your own anecdotes based off of your usage of them. I know you used it. And you used it.
I used it a couple times. I used it at one of our last events a year and a half ago.
Yeah, at River City.
And I really enjoyed carrying it. It's a very light gun. A lot of AKs that you get these days are super heavy.
Just super beefy.
LCT, ENL are really heavy, which is nice because it's realistic, but the way that this is set up, it's much lighter. It's super smooth. It's just a blast. I ditched when I had it. I ditched the big flash hider, which not a big deal. For a smaller one, just to take a little bit of the length off. I really love the M249 grip that we put on it. It's just a great gun. Triangle stock AKs are the best. In my mind, there's no better AK stock. It's just really great to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very frustrated when I used this thing because I was using the Cyma 545 mags. So I was having feeding issues and not really, having engagements go my way as much as I wanted. But overall, I was still very happy with the trigger response, with the accuracy when the gun did fire how I wanted. And I was very happy, just now when we were doing the chrono test with seeing that the rate of fire actually bears out with that trigger response. It is lighter and not as overbuilt externally as something like an ENL or an LCT.
Yeah.
So if you value realism more than performance, then yeah, maybe this isn't the body for you. But as far as I know, you can modify existing LCT and other parts to accept or to fit on this if you want to make this a more realistic, Russian style configuration. It may require some fitment depending on what spec you get.
Yeah.
I think these are VFC compatible, you were saying?
Yeah, they are. So based off their website, they're all compatible with VFC furniture, if I'm not mistaken.
And VFC spec furniture can be a bear to find because VFC hasn't made AKs for 10 years?
Well, a lot of SEMA stuff, SEMA stuff is VFC spec.
It's VFC spec in terms of how it's built, but then the actual spec to it, the spec kind of devolved over the years. So just know you might be in for a little bit of filing.
But that's every AK.
Because Airsoft.
Yes, that's every single AK. I had an LCT AK that I got a Hephaestus M-Lock kit for, and it's it should just fit and drop in. And I had to go over to Jim's house to get it dremeled down to be able to fit in it.
Only time I've ever had AK parts fit without issue is when they were made by the same people who made the AK.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Dytac makes AK accessories now, so there you go.
Exactly. So, I know Kaylee did have some anecdotes about her experience with this. She's not in the room because she lives in fucking California, so we're going to pass it over to her.
What's up, everybody? It's Kaylee, your favorite gun gamers, lesbian. Here to talk about the Maple Armouries AK and give my impressions of it from when I used it at Zulu 24 over on the East Coast. Maple Armouries gun was fairly robust. It felt like it was just a full steel construction. It was heavy. It just felt good in the hands. I was a little shocked, I'll admit that, when I couldn't get it to feed and the hop-up. Actually, the hop-up wasn't that shocking. As we've said, AK hop-ups are very finicky because there are those slide hops, and those slide hops are just garbage. Okay, I don't know why AKs haven't improved this at all. There is, I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with the rest of the gun. The build quality is fantastic. The gearbox is solid. I didn't have any problems with the gearbox. There wasn't any time where I felt like the gearbox sounded whiny or bad, or the motor was not adjusted properly. And now that they've addressed and fixed the issues, and they're shipping it with a different mag, now you're definitely getting your money's worth.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, you can't really complain too much about a gun that's $300. You're definitely getting a good deal.
Cool, and we're back. My overall experience with this thing is, I don't know, I really like it. I don't
think you can do better for the price for a performance-oriented AK.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are different options you can get in terms of how much money you want to spend. I think without the R-Hop, it's like $20 or $30 less, so you're going to spend $240, $250.
I'm going to be real with you. Maybe this is me talking as an old school boomer airsofter who doesn't need a Bluetooth enabled trigger board and everything. I would spring for the base configuration.
Yeah, probably. If it comes flat hopped, or even if it comes with a serviceable bucking, you'll be fine. And if you do want to spend the money and get the uber pimped out version of this, it's $390.
Yeah, if you're going to do that anyway, you might as well have them do it for you.
Yeah, it's going to be $390. $390 USD, because this is a Canadian company, so 520 Canadian dollars or whatever currency you use up there. And it's going to shoot really, really well. It's the version I had in my Maple Armouries Vanguard, which we did a review on, 2 years ago?
Yeah, like 2 years ago about.
Still shoots really, really well. It still kind of shoots really well. I ended up burning out the Leviathan with a brushless motor that I accidentally put active braking on. But that's in the process of being fixed right now back at the manufacturer. Regardless, gun shoots really, really well. If you want to spend $390 on a super pimped out gun, go ahead and spend it on this. If you want an AK, because in my opinion, this is kind of the best stock AK on the market. It's got serviceable externals.
Yeah.
If you really want to like turn it into something a little bit more Russian, I'm sure you can find. And honestly, like considering with LCTs and CMOs, you kind of have to break the gun open anyway. It's going to be less of a hassle, and you're probably going to be spending less money anyway.
Yeah, I really like this gun. I have really good thoughts on it and opinions of it because it did well for me, other than when I had the wrong mags in. So buy good mags with it. That fit.
Buy good mags. And again, for transparency, this gun was sent to us for free with the expectation we were going to end up, keeping it after we were done reviewing it anyway. But that doesn't really change our opinion on it.
If someone handed this to me at a game, I would have the same opinion.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's great when the mags feed.
Yeah. So make sure you buy good mags. And if you want to go ahead and turn it into something cool, go and get those die-tag produced externals. And good gun.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
It's mine now.
I've been Ian.
I've been Eric.
I'm still Cory.
And thank you very much for watching this video from Gun Gamers. Peace.
Thank you for watching this video from Gun Gamers. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Check the description below if you'd like to buy a t-shirt or a patch, and use the coupon code JUDY10 for 10% off of your next order at Amped Airsoft. Thank you again for watching, and praise Judy.